Hi, I'm Dr. Steve Vargo, and this is episode 27 of Can I Ask You One Question, where we dive into the minds of industry experts and thought leaders, and we try to learn one critical thing from them that we can apply to our professional and sometimes maybe even our personal lives. And I have with me Natalie Schmook, who is owner of Hayes Wealth Advisors, a financial planning and investment management firm for optometrists who own their own practices. Hey, Natalie.
Thanks for having me today, Steve. I'm excited to be here.
I'm excited to have you here. So let's jump right in. I think a question that we all grapple with from time to time is, am I saving enough money? And I think we often neglect this when we're younger because we think we've got all the time in the world. And then we get a little bit older and we start looking at how many years till retirement. And then we start regretting that we didn't put away more money when we were younger. So I'm going to ask you a very simple question, and I'm going to let you put your financial advisor hat on and break down some of the main considerations when you're working with your clients. And the question is, how much money is enough to retire?
That's a great question. And it's a really big question, too. And so I think you hit the nail on the head. Most people don't know how much is enough to retire on. And there's a combination of people who think that deferring as much as they can into their practice retirement account is enough, and other people who stick their heads in the sand until age 50 and wake up and go, oh, gee, I should probably think about this. And so there's a lot that goes into how much is enough. And the biggest driver of that question is how much you're spending on an annual basis. And this is a question to answer a question, but most people don't know the answer to that. And so it's very, very hard to plan for retirement if you don't know how much you need to spend on an annual basis, what you need your portfolio to do for you. So I always start my clients off on a spending tracker. I like mint.com to at least get that down pat. From there, there's a lot that goes into retirement. So what age do you want to retire? How long do you think you're going to live? We use age 100, and I have some clients who say there's no way, please shoot me at 90, so it varies by what the kind of what your life expectancy is. How your investments are positioned really matters. If you're 100% in cash, that's a much, much bigger number than someone who has a stock or a combination of stock and bond portfolio. How you're investing, what kind of vehicle you're using matters. So if you're in a 401k or a traditional IRA, when that money comes out on the back end, it's taxed as ordinary income. So that's a very different net result than a taxable investment account that you pay a little bit along the way, or a Roth IRA that's tax-free forever. So how you're invested matters. And then last but not least, what kind of income sources do you have? I have a lot of practice owners that continue to own practice real estate through retirement, and it supplements some, if not all, of their retirement income needs. That I have some clients that are counting on Social Security. I will tell you, if you are under the age of 50, I do not assume you get Social Security in our planning process. So those are just some of the really, really big variables that feed into it. And the reason I bring those up is because it's not a simple question. If you Google retirement calculators on Google, there's something like 550 billion answers. So there's always a way to do it yourself. A really simple rule of thumb that almost always works is called the 4% rule. So if you take your annual spending or your spending need and you divide it by 4% or 0.04, that should give you a target portfolio. So if I'm spending $150,000 a year, then I probably need around a $3.75 million investment portfolio to support me through retirement. And that's a really nice one-time fix, but I always caution, remember lifestyle creep as your practice grows or you move up in your career and you're making more money, you probably need to be saving more. So it's really important, whatever number you back into, that's your target or how much you should be saving on an annual basis, to update that annually to make sure it's still on target and doing what it's supposed to for you.
What makes this, I think, challenging is partly the answer to how much money do I need to retire is it depends. I think that's what you work with a lot, right? The client, to be able to ask the right questions, understand what their needs are, just help them understand things that they might not even have considered, such as how much money do I spend a year? And at the back of my mind going through this is lifestyle goals. some people are very comfortable cutting back after a certain age and saying, I just want to retire and I just want to take a few vacations a year. I'm going to downsize. And others might have bigger, financial aspirations than that. So it's correct in saying it really depends on the individual, correct?
Absolutely. There's so many. I mean, those are just a few really variables that are pertinent to everybody, but I don't like giving clients a paycheck or pay cut at retirement. Of all this time on your hands to do more stuff, it's usually unrealistic to think spending goes down, at least in the beginning. So lots of different variables, and it does depend, but there are so many tools out there. The worst thing anybody can do is stick their head in the sand and not pay attention and try to answer this question for themselves.
Well, thanks, Natalie. There's just a taste of what you actually do on a day-to-day basis with clients. And for those that are hearing this and saying, I should probably put more thought into some of these things and better understand it, and they need help with that. Where would people find out more about you and your company?
Absolutely. Me and my other advisor, we are at Hayes Wealth Advisors. I'm the owner. And so probably the simplest thing to do is go to www.hayeswealthadvisors, which is HayesWealthAdvisors.com. And there's a really easy way to reach out to us on the website. Our phone number is posted there. We love hearing from practice owners, so would welcome a call from anyone.
Awesome, Natalie. Great seeing you again. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
And thanks for everyone for listening. And if you can find the show notes for this and all other episodes at drstevevargo.com. So thanks, Natalie, and thanks everyone for listening. We'll see you next time.